great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Let's Be Social. Just want to introduce a guest of mine, Elena Maro. I just want to welcome you to my show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. And if you can tell my audience a little bit about yourself to start off.
Sure, I'm originally from Italy, and but now I live in Los Angeles. I moved to Los Angeles 7 years ago, following my childhood dream of becoming a composer for film and television. And that's a reality now because that's what I'm doing full time at the moment. And so basically, that's who I am.
Awesome. What got you interested in doing that line of work? It's so unique.
Oh, well, I just was a kid in a little country town back in Italy, and there wasn't much to do. And I spent a lot of time at school or reading, playing outside, and I had this deep passion of mine, which was ballet. So I finally got to convince my parents to take me to ballet classes, and that's when I first started falling in love with classical music and orchestral music. Secondary, um, after a while, for a series of coincidence, my mom and I were alone at home on Sundays, and we started watching all the Hollywood movies.
Mhm.
And that's when something special clicked. I was totally mesmerized by motion picture, the stories, but the actors, the looks. But for me, the magic was actually happening in the songs and in the music. So I remember as a 5-year-old girl pointing to the television and telling my mom, I'll go there. I'll work in film. And well, it took me 44 years because life takes incredible twists and turns sometimes, and it's not Los Angeles, it's not behind the corner from Italy.
Mhm.
So it took me a while, but I worked basically 21 years straight with this goal of moving to Los Angeles, starting a fresh new life, new career, and just pursuing my dreams 100%. And that meant wearing like 100 hats. I had a day job as a school teacher while I was working in theater, while I kept studying, of course. I kept studying music and composition all along the way. And in the end, when I felt like the moment was coming, I bought a house. I refurbished with my bare hands in the weekends and on holidays to be able to put together like a little sum of money to be able to move and afford living in Los Angeles for a while before starting, and I got to LA first as a student. I got back to music college even at 44, but I thought it was a good idea, to get introduced into the country legally and also getting introduced into the music field, the industry, starting making connections. And also, film music is such a specific kind of music that there are so many technicalities involved. And no matter I had been doing music for 30 years, when I came here, I was aware that writing music to picture is a totally different job. So, and I'm glad I did it because I learned a lot of the work about the workflow and the technicalities, as I said, and also also, the legal aspect, the music business aspect, because when you start freelancing as a film composer, you are in effect opening a new business. You're starting a new business, and so there are legal aspects and regulations that you need to know.
For
So.
sure. Um, and what inspires you to compose your music?
I think that the inspiration comes from feeling the story and empathy with the characters. People tell me usually I can feel how they feel.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of empathy, and I think that it's reflected when I read a story. I like to understand and feel how each character feels. And to me, when a story touch touches me, actually inspiration comes easy, um, because I can feel what's going on screen, what we see on screen, and also what we don't see, which is how is this guy or this girl feeling. And also, so that's actually the story is the core part, but also writing for film is a collaborative process. So before we start writing music, of course, the collaboration with the director starts. So when a director approaches me with a film, there are meetings and conversations about the story and about their vision, because music needs to be part of the whole film as another character. So that's why it's important to get directions. And so it's a balance of what I feel as a person and as an artist, and what is the director vision, the director's vision. I find it sometimes challenging, and maybe just because of this, it's really, really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Because not nothing is ever the same, right?
No, like every new project is different. Every story is different, and every time a new project comes along, also a new collaboration with a new director comes along. So it's there's always so much to learn from these people, both as a person and as an artist. And this is a blessing to me because it never gets boring, and I feel like I'm really I'm really growing while I'm working and learning so many things. And um, that's why I don't get too much discouraged by setbacks, because they're part of the project of the process. Sometimes a project is just resonates with us, and we feel it's like, oh, it's easy peasy. And sometimes it's something that we really need to research and deep dive inside of us and our research to be able to come up with something really interesting and musically captivating. um, but that's what makes it very, very interesting as a profession, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and you're living proof of an example of someone who, it doesn't matter what you, like as a child, you had a vision and a dream. And here you are. Doesn't matter how long it takes you, you're doing it,
And yeah,
you
it's
know?
important. I'm like, you know, it's incredible, and I'm glad I did it. That's the best decision I've ever made, and I made it despite so many people telling me I was completely out of my mind. You don't move to a foreign country at 44 on your own. You don't leave a permanent job. You don't buy and sell a house like this just because you're following your dreams. And you know, there is no security in what you're doing, and you have no safety net. And I remember thinking to myself, I feel this is what I need to do and what I meant to do. So the safety net at one point will appear. You know, that's what I thought, and it's not easy, and it's been there have been rough times also because, you know, we had COVID first and then this year's strikes. But uh, whenever a difficult moment comes, I just stop and look around, and I realize that after all, I moved to the United States 7 years ago with just two bags,
Wow.
starting from nothing, from like really scratch. And now I have a, a life, a job. I got to be one of the composers of Tell It Like a Woman, who was Oscar nominated last year for Diane Warren's song. And now, after 7 years, I'm scoring a film that's 100% live recorded by um, some of the finest Los Angeles musicians. And it's incredible to just to be able to be here and hearing my music, getting alive, you know, coming into life from a piece of paper through these hands and expertise. It's incredible. It's already a lot of living the dream, even if of course we have always big dreams as artists, you know, like the Oscars, or but honestly, it's not. I want to move forward, of course, but I feel like, come on, it's happening already. I'm living my dream. I'm here. Every morning I wake up and I'm in where I always wanted to be. And I'm able to say, I'm going to be here. It's already living the dream.
That's amazing. And congrats on your win. That's so amazing. You're obviously very talented, and you're obviously a hard worker. And I have to say, I live in Canada, and I've been raised here and work here. And I think it's always so brave when someone just picks up and moves to another country. Like, it's so brave just to do that, just that alone, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, thank you. I honestly, I hear that lots of times, and I don't know what happened to me that time at that time. To be completely honest, I wasn't scared at all.
mhm.
Whatever, you know, many people are telling me, oh my gosh, where did you find the guts to do such a thing?
It's
And
true.
I honestly don't think I felt like I needed that guts. It just felt right. It
Yeah.
just felt the right thing to do. There was a teeny tiny moment I remember when I was on the plane from Milan to Los Angeles,
Mhm.
moving here, but it was just like a few moments where I realized, oh my gosh, I've been planning this for 21 years and it's actually happening. But
Wow.
it didn't make me scared. It
Mhm.
was just like, yes,
Yeah.
and let's make more things happen in the
Yeah.
future.
So you just took that leap of faith, and you believed in yourself enough, you know?
Definitely. I suppose I did, because and every time I feel insecure, I'm like, come on, if I came here, you know, I felt like I could do it. So don't be a little girl and go on.
Exactly. Um, do you have like I mean, you've already achieved so much. Is there like something else that you're hoping to achieve in your future? Like as you continue to grow and move forward in this career?
Absolutely. For me, the best thing would be to score a very, very interesting TV series.
Hmm.
um, or some who doesn't dream to score blockbusters films, but um, for me the best goal is to keep being happy doing what I'm doing, and getting better every time I score a film.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that things will come. I don't know. I feel that it's just a matter of time, but if you never give up, it will happen. And it can happen after 10 years, 20 years, overnight, but it will happen overnight because I've seen it happening. I've seen it happen for many people around me. And
Mm-hmm.
it's all about, and everyone just says the same thing. Whenever they're asked, how did you do it? I never give up. I never gave up. That's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm convinced that whatever, it's all about not giving up, and at one point I'll get there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's actually great advice for people, for anyone, right? Anyone that wants to pursue their dream, you know, never give up on even if it seems silly to others, to just believe in yourself enough to follow your heart, because that's what it sounds like you did.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also, it's also about, um, I hear a lot about fear of failure. You
Hmm.
know, aren't you afraid you're gonna fail? And I'm like, oh, that's not in my vocabulary. Because here's how I see things. So the moment I give up and I say, okay, I'm done, then I'm failing for sure.
Yeah.
But no matter how hard it is at that precise moment when I feel like I'm failing, if I'm strong enough not to give up, then all other possibilities are wide open ahead of me.
It's amazing.
So it's a state of mind that really, the moment I achieved that state of mind, it really changed my perspective on everything.
Yeah. Do you have like a specific creative process that you, to get you kind of in the mode of composing and doing your film scores?
Yeah, it's very simple. I feel very much the my connection with nature,
Hmm.
because we're human beings, but we're part of it, and we sometimes forget.
True.
So for me, it's about when I start writing a film, I take a few days to watch the film many times in the quiet of my studio, and I take long walks in nature,
Hmm.
and I think about the story and the character as we think about our friends. I imagine how are they doing today? How are they doing in the film? And then there's always something happening right away when I don't expect it to happen, and I'm not thinking, but I'm in the in a peaceful, quiet place in nature, that I have to pick up my phone and record that first motif,
Hmm.
that that group of few notes that's usually the core of what will become the score, the whole music score for the film, or the theme for a character, or some weird ideas. I was working on a film 2 years ago, and it was a very particular film, and the director was amazing because she really let me gave me the time to get inspired and allow me to think outside the box, which I love doing because I want every single score to be something 100% recognizable
Hmm.
as the music of that film. Not, oh, I've heard this, you know.
Yes.
So, and I remember the film is Borrowed Plumes, and the director is the amazing Ritu Singh Pante. And the story was about an Indian woman immigrating to the US and finding it hard to push through all the stereotypes, even as an actress. Sometimes she got sad she wasn't being enough Indian, and she started feeling humiliated, and she almost lost her identity. And so I was walking, and I was like, okay, so there's this inner voice all throughout the film, and she's keeping it in because of the present circumstances of of society and all the difficulties,
Hmm.
because she's desperately trying to fit. And and I started in music as a singer, as a jazz singer. So when I came back home, I had this idea of adding at a music cue my vocals coming here and there, and then I produced them as they were pushing to come out of the mix of the other instrument, and it was a very interesting effect.
Hmm.
And I remember the moment the director listened to it, she was like, she stopped the film and she was like, I have to tell you, this is incredible. You know,
Wow.
these kind of ideas. Now I'm working on this amazing piece of art, which is a black and white period film
Hmm.
set in the 50s in New York, about a screen player. There are just two characters in this room, and the director came to me and he told me he had some ideas like this jazz swing
Hmm.
theme to as an opening for the film. And we sat and I had this idea of, since the film is almost surreal and unreal at one point. I'm not spoiling anything, but there's an interesting twist
Hmm.
um, at the end of it. I I I got this feeling to, and he really liked the score to be like drum or percussion centric, and
Hmm.
I had this idea of using percussion with brass, with that jazz brass session as
Hmm.
a contrast in between the two characters. And as I put some jazz echoes in the brass, the score took a complete avant-garde turn at one point. And it's really unique, and it's all recorded live, and nothing like this has been done in films yet. So that's where the excitement for a collaboration comes from, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds very
Yeah,
exciting.
we just recorded percussion on Saturday, and
Mhm.
it was incredible. We have the honor to have Brian Kilgore, who's this finest percussion player. You just look up his IMDb and you'll be amazed.
Mhm.
And so it's like a score as its own soul now. It's starting really taking shapes, and it's a it's gradually becoming a living creature. That's why I love working with live musicians, and so many times, unfortunately, for budget constraint or time constraints, we can't. But this is a special opportunity for me, and I'm truly excited about it, and I'm sure that something really interesting will come out of it.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so interesting. Um, do you have any advice for people, either in your line of work or just in general? Do you have any advice?
Yeah, whatever your choice, whatever your dream, it's your dream. So take care of it, cherish it, and to be able to keep this loving care, keeping loving care of your dreams, you need to take care of yourself. So it's right to work hard and push yourself and push your boundaries, because that's where the great things happen. You know, like as they say, nothing grows in the comfort zone.
Yes.
But be do try and do it wisely, because you know yourself and you know your limits. So there's nothing wrong taking breaks and enjoying life, and you need to do that. I always say, as much as I love I mean, my dimension is sitting in the studio creating. But if I do that and just that, then my creative flow will get dry. I need to recharge my batteries, to spend some times away. It's just like in a relationship or in a long marriage. You need to spend, you need your space apart to enjoy and fuel the
Yes.
time together, you know, and that's really important. And I see so many people getting burned because you come to Hollywood, you have your dreams. And I was talking to a director, an amazing director I worked with in the past, and we worked together during the pandemic. And then after the lockdown, we were like, okay, why don't we meet for coffee? So at least we'll meet in person. And we were sitting having coffee at North Hollywood, and he was telling me, you know what, since I moved to LA, anytime I feel like I need to take a break, I feel guilty because I moved here to do this and do that. And that's a mental trap you don't want to fall in. You know, it's you need to love yourself more, and then you can create.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, time to regenerate yourself, your batteries, so to
Absolutely.
speak, recharge is important, because you can't constantly be creating all the time and not have downtime in between, for sure.
And the second advice would be, find good people you trust and keep them close, because nobody comes from bottom to top alone.
Yes.
So that's so important to build a circle of trusted people around you and to support each other. You know, it's about helping each other on the way up.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you find it hard to break into the industry? Oh, it's like we froze.
I mean, there are lots of opportunity and it's not easy, but um, the the only thing that I would say, it takes more time than I expected
Yeah.
to get trusted as a professional, to get heard. And but that's, I mean, it's difficult. It's such a specific field, a specific um, situation, this industry and this place, that it's truly hard to understand it until you're here.
Yeah, for sure.
And so many times I told myself, oh my gosh, I moved to LA at 44. I thought I knew myself and I knew life, and I was wrong, because this is a total different environment and I need to find myself in this new environment.
Yeah.
So, and it took time, but the other thing I found out on the other side, which was nice, is that just like in many other situations, if you work hard and you're a nice person to work with, word of mouth, that's the way, that's what will open you the doors. Um, as an example, for this Oscar nominated film last year, it didn't come out of nowhere. I first met with a composer and he knew me and he knew my work.
Mhm.
So when he was asked for a recommendation for a series of documentary for the Italian consulate, he suggested my name and I auditioned and interviewed for that job and I got that gig. And they and and they were so happy about my work and they really enjoyed working with me. So when the director found herself to be one of the producers for that Oscar nominated film, she called me
Mhm.
again, you know. So that's and I hear so many times like good work and good attitude will bring more work, and also the other thing is it's actually it's not like there's a door that you can knock on and it will open and you'll be in the industry. It's about making lots of connections and as I said, getting gigs and do the best you can, both as a person and as a professional. And one thing will lead to another. For example, it's incredible, but the film I'm working on today, um, this director found out about my work because he was DP on a film I scored 4 years ago, and the director was so happy with my work that he was like, and that when we met at the film festival 4 years ago, it was like I'm trying and pivot more into directing the moment I have a film. I want to work with you, and
Mhm.
it took 4 years for this to happen, and it happened after I worked with another director, and I was recommended to this other director by a producer I worked with just out of college 3 years before. So time, connections, and it's also luck playing. You know, there's a lot of casual stuff happening.
Yeah.
So, which is also one of the other reasons why we need to love ourselves and as because accepting that there are things that are absolutely out of our control.
Yeah.
You know, you keep on working, you keep on working hard and being motivated and driven and focused on your goals, but it's it's like I know what I can do and I know that there are things that I can't change,
Mhm.
but this doesn't mean that I'm giving up. It just means I'm not beating myself and I'm not getting depressed because things are not going how I was expecting to, or they're happening slow. In my case, like they're happening slower than I was expecting.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's beautiful. And I just want to end on that note. And I just wanted to really thank you so much for your time here today. And it's your story, your life is fascinating, and I'd love to chat with you more.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, and definitely I'll share this on my social media and send you links and everything. And um,
Perfect.
thank you so much. And hopefully we can work together someday.
Yeah, that would
Amazing.
be great, and meet in person as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.